It's time for Cup of Red, so let's fill your cup with rad pop culture vibes. And now your over-caffeinated hosts, Mike and Katie. Hey everyone, it's Mike.
And Katie.
And we are your hosts on this episode of Cup of Red. Dun dun dun.
Hooray!
This week we're doing Disney.
Yeah, we haven't done like a bunch of Disney stuff.
Yeah. Well, we've hit a few things here and there.
Well, not for a while.
We talked about it at the very beginning of our podcast.
Yeah.
A whole year ago.
Yes. So it's about time we had a full Disney episode.
Yeah. So why are we talking about Disney today?
Well, we got two major things. First off, Disney Plus.
That's right. Disney Plus has been around for a few weeks now.
Yeah, we briefly touched on it last episode, but now we've actually had a chance to kind of dig into it a little bit more still. And it's been fun.
It's been really fun. It brings nostalgia back.
Yes.
That's one thing that I think is amazing with the service. It has brought in a whole surge of nostalgia for people because they were able to watch cartoons that they grew up with.
Well, and stuff that you couldn't get a hold of.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is one that you were very excited for? You dove in on the first day.
It was the first thing I tried. Because my thought was I kept hearing when we signed up and all that, it was talking about it was crashing and there's problems and blah, 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 blah. But everyone was trying to watch the big Star Wars property and things like that. So it was like the stuff I was looking at the social media webs and like, okay,
what can I try that no one else is watching?
Yeah. And I was like flipping through and I was like, bonkers. Yes, it's totally nuts. Bonkers. And I remember loving that cartoon because it was like, it wasn't a spin-off of Roger Rabbit, but it felt like it was like from the same world as Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
The idea that he's a toon beat cop detective with his human counterpart as they solve crimes in the toon world. And the cop isn't really happy about it.
Well, yeah, for a fan of Roger Rabbit, that would be a perfect thing for you, for sure. So
I was watching a few episodes of that when that first came out, and it worked perfectly for me. Whenever we tried to use anything else, that's when we started having lag and freezing issues.
Luckily, we've only had a few issues for it. I mean, it is frustrating because they're not used to it. Netflix, has solved all their problems for that, and they don't have the problems. But I know they've got to be working on it hard. Yeah. Let's hope they just keep improving.
Yeah, I'm sure once because they had so many subscribers and all that. So. Yeah. One thing was I was really excited to watch Bonkers, but then I think on my third episode, I was just kind of like, wow, it's really dated and it's a lot more kiddish than I remember. Because it was kind of like almost like they're trying to answer to Animaniacs feel.
That makes sense.
Where it's a little zany and like some stuff just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Honestly, Animaniacs, a lot of it is hilarious, but a lot of it is like, okay, sure. That might have made more sense at the time being.
True.
Or, definitely it wasn't written for 30-year-olds. So.
Yeah. Well, no, totally. But that is one franchise that I would like to see them bring back. And that as long as they didn't CG it, I think, as long as they kept it still a 2D. And maybe this would be the idea of creating another like Roger Rabbit type movie. Yeah. But with Bonkers.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be amazing to be able to show that progression where maybe they would have the 2D tunes and the CG tunes
like the
interacting and where it's like, whoa, this is weird, right? Like
that would be fun. That would be really interesting to see it on screen like that together, right?
Right. So that's because I've always thought that Bonkers should have made his big screen push with like the cross, like the John Goodman kind of as Lucky the Detective.
Oh, okay.
Interestingly enough, Jim Cummings played both Bonkers and the Detective.
That's funny.
Right?
Jim Cummings is in everything.
He's talking to himself.
That's funny.
A buddy cop movie with the same person.
So he's just completely having a break. Okay.
Right? Then maybe that's it. Maybe that's actually the point of it, is that Lucky is actually going bonkers. But I was perusing through there and there's so many things that are awesome on that thing for myself. All the Disney afternoons on there, gummy bears.
Yes.
They're bouncing here.
And there.
And everywhere. High Adventure, that's beyond.
Compare.
They're the gummy bears.
There you go, Adam. Enjoy.
little DuckTales. Woohoo. And has both DuckTales, which is awesome. It has the old and the new. So no matter what generation you're from, you get the full you know?
Well, I was having fun just being able to easily go back and watch the new Mickey Mouse shorts on there too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not having to open up the YouTube app and try to deal with all of that stuff, you know. That was fun.
Yeah, and then it trying to like tell you to go watch something else. You're like, this is totally inappropriate to be able to
no, I just want to watch Mickey Mouse.
Right. So yeah, it has 5 seasons of Mickey Mouse, the new Mickey Mouse shorts.
Yes.
Highly recommend it.
Watch all of them. They
are hilarious. There are some very fantastic ones that go back to you know, Walt's vision of playing with animation.
Yes.
You know, they do things in different languages. They do things with no
sound, no words.
Yeah.
You know,
there's song, like operatic. And
it's a lot more like body language humor and stuff too.
Yeah, pantomime feel.
Yeah. And then I love too the nods to the Disney parks as well and other characters.
And other movies.
Yep.
It's just a Easter egg filled like smorgasbord of laughs.
Right.
So definitely the Mickey Mouse shorts is something that you really want to check out. It's the Paul Reddish style. You know, some people are taken away by the style a little bit, but I'd say if you remember the character of how he originally appeared, it's very reminiscent of that. And that's what they tried to go back to. They tried to take him away from the childish icon that he became with Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. And those 90 movies that were made that were solely made for children, and take him back to a little bit more adult humor.
Yeah, well,
but it's still endearing to children.
Yeah, our son really loves it too, and he laughs. But you know,
we can laugh at different things.
Yeah, exactly.
We can laugh at the same things and different things.
Exactly, because there's some things in there that go beyond him, and it pushes those boundaries because he kind of seems more like an adult and dealing with some of those same things. But kiddo laughs because of the ridiculousness of it.
Exactly.
And that's really what the original one, if you look at those black and whites, that's what they were.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there was a very adult themes to them, but being ridiculous at the same time.
Yeah, they brought the joy to it all, and that idea that Mickey was the everyman, and he was supposed to speak to every man, you know, in that idea of it all, right? It was the, you know, and I'll reword in case anyone were the every person, right? That feeling of everyone and the scenarios that he deals with, and those shorts really do bring it back to that feeling of you have those emotions and you have that guttural response to kind of what's happening, and you can feel the same as Mickey in those moments in those shorts, and Donald and Goofy act as, you know, friend or foil.
Well, they're extreme emotions too on different sides, right? And they're all extreme versions of something, and that's okay. You know, they don't all have to be. If they're all on the same level, then it sounds funny. But what's the point of having different characters then if they're all the same thing?
Yeah, I think one thing that is interesting, say with Inside Out, we don't realize that a lot of other groups, it's the same idea. Everything is broken down into those different core emotions and things, and those personalities are built off of that. But when you look at it as a whole, it's really just one person dealing with it versus, say, the 5 or the 3 or the 2 or the 4, right?
So, well, if you look at any group and team, they all have very specific extreme emotions on one side that they really stand out. You know, the Turtles are like that. The My Little Ponies are like that. They all have
the television show Friends.
Yes, they all have extreme. It's like, oh well, like, okay, I've been asked before. You know, which are you, Phoebe, Rachel, and Monica? Well, I have traits that are clear traits of each one of them, and they don't lapse over. Oh, it's because
you put them all together and you get that person. Right? It just depends on which ones are more dominant in each person.
Yeah,
that's
so
why
it allows you to play with the
right?
different emotions and the different situations, because then you can pull those different characters in. Yeah, and Inside Out is a perfect way to explain that, where you deal with an extreme group and then they all create one thing, right?
Yeah. So
and that has been Deep Thoughts by Cup of Red.
Right, there's our moment. We have them once in a while. Check back in another 5 years. The other thing that is really cool too with the Disney Plus too is that with all the afternoon shows like Tailspin and all those that are on their Darkwing Duck, but there's also the ones that I wasn't really part of as much, like Recess is on there and Doug and things like that are on there. So it was fun seeing when it came out, everyone posting what they were watching, and like a lot of people
like the Lizzie McGuire stuff is on there too, like all that stuff that was really popular in its day and age, right?
And everyone just kind of felt like a child, and the world should have just shut down for a day, and we all should have just been able to have a big old bowl of cereal.
We're just having a
pajamas
Disney Plus day, exactly.
Yeah, right? This is cereals and pajamas. You know, the sugariest, frostiest thing you can find.
Why didn't we do that? I didn't know that was an option.
It wasn't an option, but we can make it a option.
I think it's a fantastic option.
Maybe we should make that an option coming up. That'll hit the social media wave and tell everyone to post a photo with their big bowl of cereal.
Yep. And they're just
Cup of Rad's Disney Plus Day. Rad Disney Plus Day. How's that? Hashtag like Rad it. Disney Plus Day.
I like it.
With the sugariest bombs you can find to take you back to those Saturday mornings where you turned on the TV and you watched all these amazing cartoons.
And you know what's a newer cartoon? We have already promoted the heck out of this thing on here. But please go watch Gravity Falls.
Yes. Take the opportunity.
You can watch all of it.
All of it is right there. You've already paid your $6.99, $8.99.
Yeah, you don't have to pay anything extra to see something fantastic.
It's right there for the taking. It's in your grasp. You just have to click over there and hit that button, and
your world will never be the same.
Yes, and Alex Hirsch will get a penny. Most likely, for every time that show is watched. That's the thing, is that Gravity Falls, I cannot speak. It is weird, it is humorous, it is adorable, it is action-packed, it is weird.
Yep. It is weird.
Amazing. And it speaks on so many levels, not only to children but to adults. It's like we were saying, you can laugh.
It's all about just growing up, right?
Yeah. And it's not that many episodes. It's only 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So for most of you, it'll only take you a day. So, sit down and watch Gravity Falls.
I highly recommend
it. It is gonna blow your mind.
You know what's great too is it not just all the cartoons on there, but all the movies. Like I was trying to figure out something to watch the other day, and I thought, you know what? Hey, I could take advantage. I own all of the main animation, but there's all the off direct-to-video sequels and everything. Like, why not? Because it's on here. I wouldn't go out and buy the disc for it, but I could try it. But they even have live-action movies on there, which is great. I found one of my teen movies that I loved, 10 Things I Hate About You, was actually on there, and I haven't been able to buy that on disc.
Yeah, well, they paired some of the stuff in the Fox deal.
Yeah.
And brought it over. So
and I thought
that's
that was really cool. Like, I haven't watched that movie for so long, and I loved it, and that totally, brought me back. And so it's stuff that I wasn't even expecting to be on there, which has been really fun.
Well, Sound of Music's on there. I'd love to be able to show Kiddo that.
I would like to see it too.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
That's literally all I know about it. And I can see her spinning around on the hills. And I'm sorry. I know I'm breaking people's heart by...
You're breaking my heart.
But yeah, that's just the reality of it. I'm sorry.
And then, because, I like Home Alone. It's on there. When Kiddo was always asked about, isn't there a Home Alone 2? I was like, no, there's no such thing as Home Alone 2. But it's on there, so now you can watch it.
It's free, so now it exists.
Well, yeah. But yeah, so then there's a few things like that they brought over and everything.
Well, and then all the National Geographic stuff is really cool. Like, there's been some learning stuff on there. We watched The Weird and Wonderful World of Jeff Goldblum.
And the world according to Jeff Goldblum.
He's a quirky old man.
Yeah, that's what I strive to be, I think.
I know.
That's where I'm hoping. I hope I can get the confidence to be that way.
More people should strive to be like Jeff Goldblum.
To feel that like awe and
He's
wonder.
He's a childish wonder. Yeah, he thinks the world is amazing, and I think that's a wonderful way to approach the world.
And everyone he talks to, he just is amazed by it. And,
right?
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch more of them. We only watched the first episode, but got a good sense of what it's going to be like, and learned stuff
about
sneakers. And
there's 2 more on there we gotta watch.
Yeah, we got ice cream and tattoos.
Yeah, so
super fun.
But yeah, no, that's definitely an interesting one for sure. Like, his quirkiness comes through quite a bit. And you know what, if I could be even a quarter that quirky when I get to that age, then heck yeah.
Right.
The other thing is the Imagineering stories on there.
Yes.
That's been very interesting. Some of it we already kind of knew from the Disney Treasure stuff that we owned.
Yeah, not all of it's brand new, but I totally got sucked into it, learning more about stuff. So.
It's really sad to see that when the Suits came in and just co-bashed all of Epcot and Walt's idea to create a connected community where you could all live together. Right.
Well, you know what I thought was interesting it was like almost a one-line like throwaway of why it went down. It was just like, well, they realized that you couldn't tell people how to live, so we changed it.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that was like a huge vision that you just threw away in one line. And I was surprised by that, and it was sad to see.
Well, you know what? Yeah, you can't tell people how to live, but I don't think he was trying to tell people how to live. I think he was trying to build a better community.
He was wanting to offer something and invite people to be there. It wasn't like we're going to force this way of life on you. Yeah. It was, we have an opportunity for you to choose to be here and experience this and learn that we can do better for our world and be a
connected community.
Yeah, and show something that we're trying to display and promote some good ideals of being connected, and I think that the world could use that right now.
The futurist idea of it, the idea where, you know, even in the documentary it talks to, you know, it's not much of a spoiler, honestly, but the idea that even some of the major cities had said we need to talk to these Disney people on how people move.
Yeah.
Right. And just that idea that all these creations were created and you could implement it. And when you look at those original ideas and drawings that he had for Epcot, the idea that you had the spokes and the living and the shopping and the being and all that and the jobs and all that all connected into this thing. It's a really ingenious idea.
Yeah.
And instead it got turned into a theme park that is even losing the initial learning aspect, because now they're throwing in more rides that are based on the IPs.
Yeah.
Right. With the Frozen ride and the Guardians Galaxy and all that.
Yeah. It's no longer just learning about the world.
Yeah. So it's that disconnect almost from everything. So it's interesting.
And then it comes across as, for lack of better words, the corporate greed of it all. But it's how our world is running, and then they just fall prey to it. You know, one thing I noticed watching those documentaries, though, that Walt Disney was very much of I see a need, and I think the world needs this, and I think the world will be a better place for it. Maybe they don't know they need it. They're not telling me that they want it. I just think that they need it.
Yeah.
And maybe he had his moments of a little crazy, and it's unbelievable that stuff got actually made in creation. I mean, it's a sheer force of will that it became a reality. But, you know, with Epcot and all of this, it was, you know, the world is not asking for it, but we're going to give it to them anyway. And I think they lost that. They're driven completely and solely by
sales.
By what the world is telling them that they want, rather than this, like the green initiatives and all of that sort of stuff, like they should be a model for the future, not we're just going to fall prey to what everyone else is saying is popular and we're just going to be part of the stream. They're not standing out and being the pioneer anymore. Yeah. And that made me really sad to see. Well,
because you see that, right? You see that with the parks and how
the merch and everything. It's like, it's like fashion. It's like, the next color is this, so we're gonna blanket the coat wall in this, and it's just like, ew,
rose gold ears.
That's not pioneering the world to be a better place. It's literally creating more junk.
Yeah.
And we love to buy things. I'm not gonna pretend that we don't. I understand it. Okay. But I also don't buy things just because it's a new color and it's the exact same thing I have, but in this year's shade. I've never been that type of person, right? And I do fall prey to enjoying something, but I will make that choice for it. It's not, exactly. Hashtag told me that I was supposed to like something, and Disney has fallen to that. And that was disappointing to see.
Well, you see how much from our own experiences when we were going to Disneyland at the end there before we kind of had our stop, and how it had kind of forced out the family aspect. And in that documentary, Walt's sole focus was a place for family.
Yeah, that was and they keep reminding us what Walt said.
Yeah.
And yet they don't seem to live by that anymore.
So some of the values, so I'll be curious to continue to watch the series and how they're going to spin how the company has gone.
And try to still say it in a positive light. Because right now it's left a bitter taste for the company.
Yeah. The idea of how much, big business came in and kind of took the idea of pioneering forward out of it.
Yeah.
They even talked how after the World's Fair, Disneyland felt stagnant. Yeah. And the bigwigs didn't want to change things.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see how that goes.
The world would have definitely been a different place if Walt had lived longer. I think it would have been, Disneyland itself would have been a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because I think they would have seen a lot more change happen. And so it might have been more of a normal.
Yes. And not to hold on to things as much, allow for the change. Cause
so I've complained before about changes in Pirates and all those sort of things, but I also can understand it. And there's a difference between saying, oh, that sucks that that's gone, or I really like that and I miss that. But I can appreciate why things will mold and change. And I don't want it also to be the exact same. Because then what's the point of going back if there's never anything different at all, right? And
my only problem with Pirates and the change is honestly the Jack Sparrow.
Well, yeah, it's become just a Jack Sparrow ride.
Versus when we watched the documentary, the idea was that you were just supposed to be like that slice of life, and you were just passing by all these things and just getting glimpses of what happens, right?
Yeah, and now it's supposed to. Now you have to follow the cohesive story of Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's all changes. Interesting. It's interesting to look at these things and see them. So I highly recommend watching this documentary.
Yeah, we learned a lot, and it makes you think about the world, not just Disney itself, but the world.
How it affected it.
Yeah.
Now we got all heavy on you again. Another quick little thing though is Amphibia. Go watch that show because it's hilarious. Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, is hot pop. It is weird and fun and fantastical. And if you know our taste in cartoons, weird, fantastical, and amazing is something to watch.
Yes.
So, and also DuckTales 2017,
we're making Amphibia last as long as possible.
Season 2 is in production.
Yeah, we have a few of them left for season 1, and it's just going to be sad when it's gone, right? So.
Yeah. And Star vs. the Force of Evil, all 4 seasons are supposed to be hitting in December.
Which is awesome.
So that is another one.
I'm excited to go back and watch the first ones. Because they were just weird little snippets, 15-minute episodes of weirdness that weren't really connected. And see how much of it changed and that evolution of the character.
Here's a fun little circle around. So Katie really liked Star vs. the Force of Evil, and she loved all the mystical and the whimsical and all that. And I had said, I was like, this reminds me of Sailor Moon.
Especially, the credits totally.
Of an anime, right?
Yeah.
And I said, you should look at it. Anyway, so she's reading Sailor Moon, right?
Yeah.
And so then now she's reading it. She's 6 volumes into the thing. And she comes down and she says to me, Mike, look at this.
Well, Sailor Jupiter had yelled out a spell, and it was Coconut Cyclone. And it was hilarious because it just totally reminded me of a spell from Star.
So there's a whole full circle-y thing connected and all that. So
Star was done. So it just made sense. I had to go find something. I found Sailor Moon.
Right. And so you potentially found where a lot of the stuff from Star vs. the Force of Evil came from. And now
as soon as Sailor Moon first suited up, basically, she yells Sailor Moon power makeup or something, moon power makeup, and I was like, and just the transformation, it totally reminded me of Star, because when she would do that with her butterfly form and everything like that, there'd be this glowing orb, and that's exactly what it is.
So it's full circle. So Darren Nefsey did something. She got you into Sailor Moon.
Thank you for that.
It's pretty awesome, I think. So we did watch one of the original movies that are on there.
Yes. I was excited for, to kind of kick off a Christmas season, because we did decorate our Christmas decorations up. And they had that new movie, Noelle, on there. And that one looked fun. I'm not going to lie, Bill Hader. I love Bill Hader. So I was like, Bill Hader's in something. Sure, I'll watch it. And I love Anna Kendrick. I really do. She's adorable. But I was looking at this as a Disney Hallmark movie. It was just going to be a fun, simple Christmas movie. And you know what? It was a fun, fluffy, silly, cute Christmas movie. And it filled its niche of being just nice and simple and sweet, and it had a nice little message, but at the same time, I watched it.
Yeah. So. I'm in the same boat of where I would say, if you want just a fun, silly, cute little movie that is family friendly.
Yes.
That if you're feeling that Hallmark movie bug, but you don't want any of the kissing, then Noelle's right up your alley.
Right, and which was perfect for me. I really love that it wasn't romance driven. It was great. That was fantastic, because I'm not a Hallmark movie person.
Yeah. So if I had paid a theater ticket, I probably wouldn't have said, yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
I'd probably been a little more frustrated, but being that it was just part of the streaming service, and it's a direct to video.
Yeah, it was cute, and I'm glad we watched it, and I definitely laughed at some of it, because it kind of reminded me of Elf, the
fish out of water feel.
Exactly, where it's she tries to pay with chocolate money and stuff like that, and I think that's funny because she doesn't have any idea, and she's super innocent about it, but there was a good growth to the character. But I liked that there wasn't romance involved with it, and it turned out all right. So
I wouldn't watch it as a yearly thing though.
No. But
one streaming one that was that might become a yearly one is that Santa Claus Chronicles, with Kurt Russell the other year. I really enjoyed that one.
Oh yeah, that one was fun.
Like that one made me excited to watch more Christmas movies. Right?
Yeah, it was so different with that, right?
But
this one like has potential for a sequel, actually. So it would be kind of interesting to see if they ever do something like that with it, where it would be kind of a little bit.
Should be called like Joy Noel or something like that.
Oh yeah, that'll be good. So we watched that.
Yeah, so check that one out. It's still on your Disney Plus service.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep going on Disney, but we're going to move away from Disney Plus. Oh, wait. We always got to mention this because it happens every week now. Every Friday is Mandalorian Friday.
Mandalorian Friday.
Right? Mando Friday. And Katie's 2-second review of the asset again is...
It's adorable.
That's right.
I think the whole world is that way, though. I mean, that I want something asset for Christmas.
Something tangible.
Something it's adorable.
You can cuddle.
I really
I guess we can just say it now. It's out everywhere.
Everyone knows it. It's a Yoda creature.
Yeah, there you go. Could he be like Little Wayne and just be like Little Yoda?
Yeah.
Right? Instead of Baby Yoda, because people are getting mad about Baby Yoda because it's not Baby Yoda because it's 50 years old.
Yeah,
but it's Little Yoda. Little Yo.
We don't even know
Little
what it
Yo.
is, though.
That's what I'm calling it now.
It's unfair because Yoda is a name. It's not a species.
Yeah, well, Yaddle was a female in the prequels.
Okay, so we don't even know.
So we don't even know.
We're just going to call it Little Y.
Little L. Little Y. Little something. I'm gonna stick with the asset. Yeah, the child.
The child. You know what? I like that. And right now it is an asset because he's slowly becoming.
It's bonding the world together in adorableness.
It is. This last episode was so full of action, though. It was excellent. I'm seriously looking forward to every single one of these.
That's our Friday night now.
Yeah. Oh, so good, so good.
But moving past that, we're going to move into other Disney territory. Something else came out this last weekend that we decided that we were going to go see.
Yes.
And that was...
Frozen 2.
That's right. We went and saw Frozen 2.
I know we had talked about this before. I wasn't excited at all when I first heard there was going to be a sequel of Frozen 2. I was like, why? Backtracking to this, Frozen. We watched it. It was okay. I myself did not understand the sheer love and amazing. Like, it was not life-changing to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but it didn't speak to me like any of the other animated ones did. I mean, like, Tangled, I fell in love with it as an adult. Yeah. Frozen, I could take it or leave it, you know? A lot of it, too, was because it was so much merch-based, and I know that if I had a daughter, it probably would have been different because you would have fallen into that and you had a connection with that. But it was just whatever. So when there was a sequel, I was afraid it was just going to be another mess.
And I was scared because I didn't like Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Yes.
Or Ralph Breaks the Internet. I didn't like that story.
Okay, and we were really looking forward to that.
I was so excited, and then
it was such a letdown for things, right? So this one here, when we first saw the trailer, I was pleasantly surprised.
Your little ears perked up.
Yeah, I was like, this looks like an actual action movie. I didn't want it to be romance based. I didn't want it to be. I didn't know. You know what? I had a hard time not even knowing what Frozen was really trying to portray.
It was just teenage angst. It was just finding yourself within the angst of becoming a teenager.
To me, it never really, really turned and resolved itself. Yeah. It felt kind of like it fell flat. Like it was trying to solve too much.
Well, because there wasn't really a clear villain in the movie, too, right?
Yeah,
it was pretty much like a.
Well, because Hans was such a villain for such a small moment.
Yeah, it just kind of like popped up.
It was just like, oh, by the way. Woo. Yeah, and he wasn't a driving force behind the issue in the movie, and I think that's what the problem was.
And also was never truly evil.
Yeah,
right.
It was just her inner turmoil that was the driving force of the movie, and so Hans felt like a throwaway, and it was just convoluted to me. So when I saw this one, this seemed actually a little bit more dramatic and more action. I was very excited, and with the final trailers hitting, I was like, okay, I'm there. I'm excited for this. I want to see what they're doing because it looks different enough, and it looks like it is more magical, and I'm intrigued with that. So I bought tickets a couple weeks ago as soon as they dropped, and I am very, very happy to say that I enjoyed this one a million times better than I enjoyed the original.
There you have it.
So I was super surprised.
She's just a frozen girl in a frozen world.
That is amazing. What about you?
I was in the same boat. I never really clung to the original Frozen. So I was just along for the ride in a lot of cases when the trailers were dropping and all that. There was a couple trailers that got my attention because it did look more like dramatic, and it did leave me with a sense of like, ooh, what's happening?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when we saw it, I was really pleasantly surprised how it played out. I really enjoyed the story that they had laid out there, and I felt that it was more enriching.
Yeah.
And more circle full.
Well, I feel like they actually progressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, honestly, Olaf makes a comment about how they go into this place and he thinks that there's, you know, we're all going to come out changed. There's going to be a transformation coming out. And it's super clear, just straight to the point foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious because I really felt like there was an actual change. Opposed to the first one, I didn't really truly feel like you really cared. With this one, they all changed for the better.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the story. Yeah, again, there wasn't an actual clear villain, but the conflict itself was clearly stated.
Yes.
What the driving force of the movie was, and it didn't veer from
muddy.
it.
Yeah.
You know, it was clear what from point A what they needed to resolve, and it was all then the adventure of how they resolved it, and it was really interesting on how they did change, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a spectacular looking film through and through. Each scene and all that, and I liked how the songs it felt more like a stage musical.
Yeah,
how it progressed. The only thing though was that there was no song that stuck out and no song that's as catchy as of right now. You probably have to listen to the soundtrack maybe a couple times and maybe see if anything like that.
Yeah,
there was one scene that was my standoff, and Kristoff gets to get a shining moment in it.
It does, very much so.
So
he wasn't a throwaway joke in this one.
Yes.
He was an actual character.
Yeah, he didn't feel like such a derf.
And so why did you enjoy the song?
It is a complete throwback to like 80s music videos.
Yes.
Of like the Michael Bolton era.
It was fantastic.
And yeah, because it was completely out of place.
Right? Like it was a completely different song than the rest of it. It was like a rock sounding,
but at the same time, like it was really awesome to see him get some like time in his confusion of what's all happening.
Right.
With everything, and like it had that Queen-esque vibe.
Yeah, it didn't come across as he didn't come across as dumb.
Yeah.
Or a big oaf or anything like that. You know, he was really helpful, and I actually really liked him.
Yeah.
So
all the characters actually were more enjoyable in this, and it shows the growth. And I told you when we left too, I was like, honestly, you could have had this movie just come out as is, and with the little hints of what had happened in the past, and you almost wouldn't need the first one.
No.
In some form, which I think
other than just knowing about Elsa's power.
Yeah.
Really, that's the only thing.
Which wouldn't take too long to have really...
She just shoots some ice from her hands and you can figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but
like it's not...
So I think that was almost a bit of a kudos on the writers going from not really enjoying the characters to being like, hey, I actually kind of enjoy these characters and I'm engaged in this movie. I'm not sitting here like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought that was really cool.
Well, for me, okay, so it's always an interesting idea if I come out of a movie that I haven't had any merch on, if I want to buy something or embrace something. And I have nothing Frozen at all. And I was like, I usually like to wear something themed to go to a movie or something. And I have a snowflake necklace. I was like, yeah, I'm going to rock this. Like, that's the best I got. And as soon as the credits started rolling, I was like, yeah, I totally want to rock something Elsa.
But you want like actual outfit. You don't want just like Elsa merch.
I want
let's be
actual... honest. I want to recreate Elsa's outfits because they're amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to walk around in a gown.
Right?
Yes. Let's be honest. But I will take some merch that is more just themed feel or, something like that.
I'll be curious to see if you can find anything.
But I'm very particular about it. So it's not I probably won't happen. But I can, yeah. So. I wish I could sew. I wish I could go and make myself like her pajama gown that she's wearing. It's so pretty and it's like this bright royal purple and it's just like why is it not acceptable for us to wear gowns for pajamas now in lounge? Like I think I'm gonna bring back pajama gowns.
There you go. Do it.
That's what's happening.
Do it. Yeah. Well, I can do a little bit of sewing, so maybe I can try. I don't know. A bag. But I need to have. I'll sew a bag and cut a hole out for you. It's like a potato sack, but with like satin instead.
Oh God.
A satin potato sack.
I'll rue the day I ever asked to wear else again.
Hey kid, is this the Christ?
I want to be an ice queen for Christmas. That's what I need. I have 3 weeks till my Christmas party. Like I need to find a white gown to wear for my Christmas party.
Okay, lots of glitter and lots of gonna be hot glue. I know hot gluing. Hot glue and some glittery stuff on you.
I'm gonna bedazzle my chest.
There's a reference to Gravity Falls for you. I successfully bedazzled my chest.
Yeah. So that's where I left. So I can tell that I actually felt a connection to it, and I really enjoyed the character.
Yeah.
Like way more than I ever had before. And I liked the progression of it. I liked the conflict that she was going through, and I liked where she moved, and all the characters really embraced who they are. And I thought that was it's a good message still, that none of them were throwaway or laughed at.
No one sacrificed their values to fit someone else's life.
They all still just stood up and learned how to be their own being, not depending too much on someone else. Mm-hmm. Stand up for your own happiness, but be there for your friends and your family as well. Yeah. And I think that's a really good message to be able to say.
Yeah, exactly.
So
do we want to do some spoilers?
We can.
Do you want to do it? So those that haven't seen it and don't want to learn more about spoilery territory, we're gonna
wrap it up now.
Over here, we like to say thank you for listening and have an awesome day and see you next week.
Exactly. But now it's a little bit spoiler territory.
Yeah, a little spoiler territory.
Little bit.
Little spoiler moment.
Okay, so spoilers.
So. I'm gonna go a little more in depth about the song because
Mike really liked it.
I really like the song.
Kiddo was laughing too. I was like, I can't believe this is actually happening. Is this real? This is in a Disney movie? Oh my goodness.
Am I tripping right now? Because that reindeer looked like it was straight out of Queen. And it was fading, the fades in and out, like literally.
Then like he would show up on the other side of the screen, and then like the hand motions and everything. Yeah. I was like,
he beats his chest at one moment.
Yes.
Yeah,
that just made the movie right there.
Yeah, that there. If I could remember the song. But the whole song then I think was really interesting because he was struggling with the idea of proposing to Anna. Yeah. Right. So, spoiler.
We warned you ahead.
Need to create like the official like spoiler song. Right. Ye be warned, spoilers ahead.
There you go.
Turn back or. But the fact that he keeps messing up, he is bumbling and all that.
Super awkward. But she won't shut up enough to let him collect his thoughts.
Yeah. She just keeps interjecting, right?
I don't know what that's like. I never interject over anyone.
See? So he keeps trying to do all this. So then he finds out she's gone and he doesn't know what to do, and he's like freaking out, and he's alone in the woods, and he's singing this, and he's got all these reindeer around him. It was just fantastic.
I love that Sven started singing.
Right? Yeah, Sven actually gets a voice, but it's just the voice that Kristoff hears.
Right.
So
I love that he found a friend that does the same thing. Like they were just two peas in a pod.
Right?
It was adorable. Which was voiced by Jason Ritter.
Gravity Falls reference.
Anyways,
how can you not go back and watch that show? Right? There are manitors. They have fists for nipples.
Somehow we managed to bring Gravity Falls into Frozen 2. And look at that. Okay. So
6 degrees of separation. But besides that, what was one of your favorite parts?
Two things. Okay,
there'd be spoilers ahead if you didn't know already.
Oh my goodness. So my extreme love for like small animals now. Because we forgot to talk about that. So sorry, unfortunately, if people lost out on it.
But this is spoiler territory for Noelle.
For Noelle. So I got super sucked into the little reindeer in Noelle, like to the point where I was like almost crying that he was being left behind.
I want you to know that if you have seen it, you realize that nothing bad happened to the little reindeer. He was just running at one point and was almost forgotten at the North Pole. He made the journey by himself.
I know, because he found his strength to just continue helping.
But I was like super Niagara upset. Falls. Niagara Falls.
I was not crying.
Almost.
Let's be honest. I said almost. I fessed up to it. Okay, so little fire lizard thing. So freaking adorable. Oh my goodness. That's all I have to say. Was that it was awesome? That it was bouncing around like...
There was all this lead up. It was just like a little fire lizard was awesome.
Well, you know what? I love the colors, the nature spirits themselves. Mm-hmm. I love the concept of the nature spirits. I mean, it's a very timeless story, the idea of those 4 pillars of things. And I thought it was really funny that instead of like this scary, horrific thing, granted it was lighting the forest on fire, but then it turned into this little silly lizard. Mm-hmm. I thought it was. Well,
you think too, though, that idea that it fire is unpredictable and a little lizard running around letting fires out
would be super unpredictable. Exactly. Right. It just jumps all over the place.
Yeah, and when fires start, that's kind of how it is.
Right.
It's not necessarily a giant phoenix that comes down and smashes the ground.
Right. And it can start from something very tiny. Fire starts from something very small and grows out of control. So I really like the way that the different spirits were represented. I like that the wind spirit didn't actually have some sort of face or being or anything. It was just Gale. Yeah, it was Gale. And then with the earth, was scary and
I was right. After all these years, people like to, Disney finally confirmed it, so now people will believe it. They didn't believe it back in Lord of the Rings that the mountains are alive.
Yes.
And that they're actually like troll beings.
Well, it makes sense. That part of the world, apparently that's what it is.
It's my Norse heritage, and I believe in the trolls. The trolls in the hills.
And
past life coming back when I fought them.
Yeah.
With my big sword, my flowing beard and mane.
Did I marry Thor?
No.
Just say yes.
Just say yes. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, my favorite part though, I really liked with Elsa when she was on the beach trying to get out into the water and cross into the dark sea, and the water spirit horse that showed up. I thought that was really cool. The unpredictability, and it was kind of scary. Obviously, I mean, it looked like it was trying to kill her.
Yeah.
And
because she was taming each of these spirits as she went through.
Yeah.
Right?
So I thought that was really interesting that she was showing that she was had control over them. So now looking back at how it ended, it's kind of like it was total foreshadowing for all that as she tamed all of them. And I thought it was a really fun action scene to see her keep struggling and fight that, and then find a way to break that.
What was nice though is sometimes we've seen in movies, especially kids movies, how quickly it happens. Yes, it still happened quickly in the movie, but she failed multiple times before she finally thought of something
different
to do it. Right?
Yeah, it wasn't like, well, I'm just going to keep battling this. It was like,
she tried freezing it. She tried, tried to smash it. She tried all these things. And then it finally was like...
Well, it was also then too, it wasn't a way, she wasn't trying to destroy it anymore. Yeah. She now was working
embraced
with it, right? And didn't try to change it.
Yeah.
It's no different than herself. She wasn't trying to change its nature.
Yeah.
It was just, we got to work together. We got to cooperate, and it's that harmony of nature again. Right. And so then that whole thing with her taking off on that and running towards that palace and the whole entry into that temple, basically.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just so pretty, and I loved her transformation, and I love her hair now.
In the dress.
So much. And not gonna lie, it made me miss my white blonde hair. So
that might be making a return.
So I will see how that goes. And it made me happier and embrace the blonde that I do have in my hair right now.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But it was really interesting to see that whole scene and how it unfolded with her finding out about the history of things. We actually got a clear answer about what had happened. It wasn't just that their parents, were from 2 separate worlds, but the actual portrayal of where that happened and the trying to control nature and the greed
messes everything up.
Exactly. And I love that message.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really great way of explaining it in an interesting tale for sure.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite. So
yeah, all in all, I was really happy we saw it. I'd be interested in watching it again because there was a lot into it.
Mm-hmm. I am actually, I can tell I'm actually excited to watch it again.
Yeah, already, and versus like in the case for ourselves before, it'd be like, oh, you want to watch Frozen kind of thing? You're like, nah, let it go, right? Like,
yeah, I'm good.
So
you know what? One thing that I thought was funny though, we were on the way home, we're talking about, the fact that, she's the fifth element. Things. and I had a moment of like, it really is. She's the fifth element.
They remade the fifth element into a solely fantasy, not science fiction movie.
And it's amazing.
Made it a musical.
Holy cow. They took, the 4 elements of Earth, and then you have one being that connects the bridges together and makes them powerful. Yes. It totally is The Fifth Element made into Disney.
With less Chris Rock and Bruce Willis.
Which is, a loss in itself. But we will accept that.
You can enjoy it too. You can watch,
So that was just super awesome. It's like, oh, no wonder I enjoyed it.
Right? So there you have it. Frozen 2 in a nutshell. In a snowball.
I'm curious to see what other people had thought about it too. Mm-hmm. I mean, was there anyone that didn't like Frozen that changed their mind? Or
vice versa?
I'm curious to see, if you really, really love Frozen and it spoke to you, did this still speak to you as well? Yeah. And was it a nice progression for you? Or was there an issue for it? For sure. So
definitely something to find out. So love to hear from y'all. It's always fantastic to hear that.
Yeah.
And also love seeing what y'all watch on Disney Plus because, brings those memories. And if you got any recommendations, let people know.
Definitely.
So there we have it. This is the end of the podcast for this week. You have made it through our little Disney talk.
It's the last podcast in November, and then it's like Christmas.
The snow's falling down. Christmas. Most of you probably have been listening to this in December anyway, so that fills in, right? So,
but thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention though is that over at the Spit Roast podcast, Heidi and Adam are about to celebrate their 1-year anniversary for their podcast. So right on, guys. I think they're doing a contest and all that, so you might still have time to try to enter. So check out their Instagram. That's mainly where they do things. So awesome that you guys are doing your reviews and your podcasts and all your little series and all that. So congrats on that. Keep up the great work. And with that, then, I'll say stay rad, dudes.
Thanks for joining us and have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening. Want more rad content? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review.
And remember, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes!